Pirates were men and women who lived by plunder and the sea, but the sea was as deadly as any warship or empire's navy. Tales of buried treasure and daring raids dominate popular memory, yet one dangerous question lingers in the background. How did pirates survive fierce storms at sea? When towering waves threatened to tear their vessels apart, did they have secret techniques for survival? Did fortune favor them through sheer luck? Or did centuries of seafaring knowledge make the difference? The answers hide within the reality of pirate life, far harsher and far stranger than legend might suggest. The story of pirates and storms belongs largely to the period now known as the Golden Age of Piracy, which stretched from the late 1600s into the early 1700s. During these decades, the Caribbean Sea, the Atlantic Ocean, and even parts of the Indian Ocean became hunting grounds for men who pursued freedom and profit outside the laws of kings and empires. Their ships were often captured merchant vessels, quickly refitted for speed and maneuverability. But while these ships were formidable against prey, and even against warships in some encounters, they were still wooden vessels powered only by sails, completely at the mercy of wind and waves. For a pirate crew, every voyage carried not only the risk of battle, but also the far greater and more unpredictable danger of storms. To understand how pirates endured storms, it is necessary to look closely at their ships. Most pirate crews sailed small to medium-sized vessels, such as sloops, brigantines, and schooners. These ships offered impressive speed and could turn more quickly than the large galleons or naval frigates they often targeted. Yet this advantage came with a weakness. Smaller vessels could not withstand the pounding of heavy seas as sturdily as the massive, reinforced warships of empires. Their hulls flexed and shifted, and their masts stood vulnerable to being snapped by hurricane-force winds. The very qualities that made them excellent for raids also left them more exposed in a storm. Pirates relied heavily on reading the signs of the natural world to anticipate trouble. Before the invention of modern forecasting, sailors watched the sky, the sea, and even the behavior of animals for clues. Sudden falls in air pressure, unusual colors in the sky, or a thick, humid stillness in the atmosphere often warned of an approaching storm. Parrots, seabirds, and even fish near the surface were considered indicators of changing conditions. Historians believe that the ability to recognize these warnings quickly could mean the difference between safety and destruction. Some pirate captains, seasoned sailors before they turned to raiding, proved highly skilled in predicting weather shifts and acted decisively when signs pointed toward danger. When storms loomed, pirates had to transform their vessels into floating fortresses prepared for survival. Sails were reefed, meaning they were rolled up and tied down to reduce wind resistance. Rigging was checked to prevent it from tearing loose, and every loose barrel, weapon, and piece of cargo was fastened tightly. The deck was cleared to ensure that waves crashing over the side would not knock heavy items into crew members. These preparations were done under immense pressure, with every man ordered to his task. The sooner the ship was made storm-ready, the greater its chance of staying afloat in the chaos ahead. Once a storm struck, survival depended on constant, skilled adjustments. Pirates used specific techniques familiar to all sailors of the time. One of these was heaving to, angling the sails and rudder in a way that allowed the ship to ride the waves without being thrown broadside. In particularly violent conditions, crews sometimes lowered all sails entirely and let the ship drift, avoiding the strain of fighting the wind. Steering directly into the waves reduced the risk of capsizing, though it demanded enormous strength and coordination. Every choice carried danger. A wrong maneuver could split a mast, swamp the deck, or capsize the vessel altogether. While the crew on deck struggled against nature's fury, those below endured unimaginable hardship. Confined in the pirate ship's hold, men were battered by the sound of cracking timbers and the roar of waves striking the hull. Water often leaked through the planks, forcing non-stop bailing. Rats and damp provisions added to misery, and sickness spread easily in such conditions. Evidence tells us that storms could last not just hours but days, leaving pirates exhausted, hungry, and soaked with seawater, yet unable to rest until winds finally subsided. Pirates lived in a world where superstition intertwined with survival. Many believed that storms could be brought on by angered spirits or divine punishment. Some sailors refused to whistle while at sea, fearing it could call up the wind. Others carried charms or invoked prayers as lightning tore across the sky. These practices may not have calmed the seas, but they gave men a sense of hope and control when all else seemed lost. Today, historians view these customs as reflections of the psychological strain sailors endured, facing forces far beyond their ability to command. Surviving a storm did not mean a crew emerged unscathed. Injuries, broken masts, torn sails, and lost provisions left ships weakened and vulnerable. A pirate crew barely holding their vessel together would then face hunger or thirst if supplies had been ruined. Some storms scattered fleets, leaving ships stranded alone on hostile coasts. Others claimed entire pirate crews, swallowed without record into the sea. Surviving a storm was more than a demonstration of seamanship. It often reshaped the fortunes of a pirate band entirely, deciding whether they continued as predators or perished as lost men. The legacy of pirates surviving storms reveals much about seafaring knowledge in the age of sail. Techniques developed over centuries were crucial for their survival, and these same strategies were employed by navies, merchants, and explorers. Today, historians believe that one reason pirate crews were so resilient was their discipline under pressure. Despite their lawless reputation, they relied on strict shipboard order when facing the sea's fury. Evidence suggests that the democracy of pirate crews, where captains held authority only so long as men trusted their skill, meant that those who survived storms were often led by the most capable seamen of their time. In the end, the truth is that pirates survived storms not through secret tricks or mythical protection, but through hard-won knowledge of the sea, strict preparation, and sheer human endurance. While we remember them for treasure, battles, and daring stories, their greatest victories may have come against the relentless power of nature. Each storm tested their ships, their captains, and their will to survive. And though many vanished beneath the waves, those who endured left behind a reminder that the most fearsome enemy a pirate faced was never a navy or a rival crew. It was the storm itself.